Hey guys, it's Kaylor. Welcome to the YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to be designing a help center / FAQ page in Adobe XD. This website design is going to be nice and colorful, so we're going to be using a lot of gradients today. So in the project file, I have the 3 gradients that we're going to be using, as well as some other colors, some blacks and some white. And then I have the character styles and the symbols for you. And then I have the document set up and ready to go, so you can follow along with this tutorial. So there will be a link for the project file down in the description. Today's video is sponsored by bookmark.com. Bookmark is a really cool and easy way to build a website in under 2 minutes. By answering 7 simple questions, Bookmark uses an artificial intelligence to build your website right before your eyes. You can even create an online store if you have items to sell. So if you're looking to build a website, there's a link in the description down below for bookmark.com. So to start off our design, I'm going to go in the top left-hand corner on the second column, and we're going to type out a logo, Help Center. I'm going to set this to 20-point Avenir font, and this is a medium font weight. And then I'm also going to drag out a box menu icon. So this is from Box Icons, and it's their menu icon. And I'm going to center these up and put 20 spacing in between them. I'm going to grab both of them and hold Alt on the keyboard, and you can see that we have 102 spacing from the top. Let's make that 50, and that will position that where we need it. Next, over here on the right, in the second-hand column, I'm going to drag out a home icon. This is going to take you back to the main website from the Help Center. And we're going to grab all of those, make sure they're centered, and check the spacing from the top, which is 50. That's looking good. So moving on, we're going to have a question in the center of the page. How can we help you? And this is going to be set to 50-point Avenir font, and this is a heavy font weight. I'm going to center line this text and center it up to the artboard. I'm going to make sure this is 260 pixels from the top of the artboard, and that's going to give us a good position for our question there. Next, we're going to create a search field that's going to allow the user to ask their question. And so I'm going to drag this out. And that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 columns wide, so 812 pixels wide. And I'm going to set this to 60 pixels high. I'm also going to uncheck the border and check the shadow. We're going to set the shadow to 5 on the Y value and 30 on the blur value. Next, for the shadow color, I already have a preset here. Just click that. That's 182940 on the color code, and it's set to 6% opacity. Lastly, let's add a border radius of 10 pixels to this, and our search field is done. So now I'm going to position this 40 pixels below our question. And now let's put in some text. So here we're going to say, ask us a question, ... And I'm going to set this to 17-point Avenir font, medium font weight. I'm going to line it to the left. And here inside of our rectangle, I'm going to center it up, and we're going to go 30 pixels in from the left. On the right side, I'm going to drag out a search icon, make sure it's centered, and go in 30 pixels from the right. Next, I'm going to set both of these to a gray color of 999A5. And I'm going to grab everything and make sure it's centered, which it is. So that is our search bar now done. Below that, I'm going to have a question, so I'm just going to type out some text. This text is also going to be 17-point font, medium. Center line that to the artboard, and we're going to go 80 below our search box. It's going to paste in that text. And this is going to say, or check out the frequently asked questions down below. So that's what we're going to move on to now. So our frequently asked questions are going to be in these boxes that we can click on and drop down and read some more information about them. So I'm going to grab the rectangle tool, and I'm going to drag all the way over. And this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 columns wide. So 1088 pixels. And for the height value, I'm going to set this one to 350. I'm just going to hold Alt and drag this over on that text. Command Shift right square bracket key to send it forward. I'm going to line it to the left, and we'll just put it here in the corner of our box, and we'll go down 30 from the top, 10, 20, 30, and to the right 40 pixels, 10, 20, 30, 40. And that'll align our question where we need it. So I'm just going to replace this text with a question. Again, this is lorem ipsum. I'm going to select our rectangle for our search bar, right click and select copy. And then I'm going to select our new rectangle, right click, paste appearance, and that's going to transfer over the fill, the shadow, and the border radius for us, so we don't have to recreate it. Next, with the text tool, I'm going to create a text area, and I'm going to stop one column short here, so we have actually one column of extra space on the right. Just going to put in some text for a second, and I'm going to put this 13 pixels below our question, and I'm going to fill up the rest of the box, and I'm going to leave about 50 pixel spacing on the bottom, just like that. So I have a content generator, so that's a plugin, and I'm going to put in a paragraph of lorem ipsum. I'm going to increase the line height to 28, and I'm also going to make this 2 paragraphs, so I'm going to hit enter, and for the paragraph spacing, I'm going to set that to 13. Next, with that selected, I'm going to set it to the gray color that we're using. And there is our first box pretty much done. I'm going to grab another icon. So you can drag this out from the symbols panel. It's just an arrow icon. And I'm going to make sure this is centered up with the question. I'm going to zoom in. And I'm going to go 40 pixels from the right. So we match the spacing that we have over here. And again, I'm going to select both of these and make sure they're vertically aligned, which that now is. And that is our first question box. So if I remove the grid, this is what we have so far. So we're going to need some room here on the page. So I'm going to double click on the artboard and just drag down. I'm going to select all of this and hold Alt and create a duplicate. And we'll put 30 spacing in between each of our questions. Next, I'm going to paste in some lorem ipsum. This is just going to be one line of text. So then I'm going to change it to a point text. And we'll set this one to 140 for the height of our rectangle now. And since this one is not expanded, I'm going to rotate this arrow to point downward so that we can drop this down. And I'm also going to add 3 dots onto the end of this so that we know we can read more. Just so it looks a little different, I'm going to change the lorem ipsum on the question. Then I'm going to grab this and hit repeat grid. And I'm going to make 4 copies of this. Just like that, and ungroup the grid. And we'll put 30 spacing in between each one of these. And I'll ungroup all of them. And I'm actually going to make one more. So you can fill out these questions and information if you'd like, but I'm just going to leave them at lorem ipsum. So there's all of our questions. Let's drag out some more space down here at the bottom. Next, we're going to have a heading for this next section that says, "Can't find what you are looking for?" question mark. And this is going to be set to Avenir 42 point font, and this is a heavy font weight. After the U, I'm going to hit enter, and I'm going to center line this text. I'm going to put this 260 pixels from the last question box. That'll match the spacing that we have here at the top. I'm also going to grab this text up here and hold Alt and create a duplicate. And we'll place this 13 pixels below. And I'm going to paste in some text and change this to a text area. I'm going to turn on my layout grid again, and I'm going to hold Alt and drag in. And we'll set it up like that. For this text, we're going to set it to our gray color that we're using. Now I'm going to create a button. So I'm going to grab a rectangle, and I'm going to make this 2 columns wide. And we'll set this to 60 pixels on the height. And I'm actually going to shrink this down. Let's go with like 180. That's a little too wide. And we're going to center this up and go down 40 pixels below this body text. And on this button, I'm going to set a border radius of 5 pixels. I'm going to remove the border, and I'm just going to set this to black for now. For the text inside this, I'm going to say email us. This is going to be Avenir font. I'm going to set it to white, and it's 17-point font, and it's a medium weight. And we'll center that up inside the button, and we'll vertically and horizontally align that so that it's perfectly centered. So I'm going to select this rectangle. I'm going to hit Alt and see how much space we have. And we're going to try to put about 260 from the bottom of that button. Let's actually go about 300. That'll look good. Now to get the rest of the content on the page, all we need is some text down here at the bottom for privacy. I'm going to hold Alt and create a duplicate. And this is going to be for terms and conditions. So we'll align this to the right-hand column, and we're going to go 50 pixels from the bottom of the artboard. And we'll put terms and conditions 40 pixels to the left of privacy. Just like that. Actually, let's drop this down a little bit more. Let's go 350, 360-ish. And we'll put these to 50 from the bottom of the browser, just to give us enough white space there so it doesn't feel cut off. So we can turn off our grid. And so this is kind of our wireframe. This is what we have so far. All right, so now that this is done, you can title this artboard Help Center -wire if you'd like, and hit Command D to make a duplicate. And we'll call this one Design. All right. So I'm actually going to drag this a little bit away from our wire since we're going to have some shapes hanging off the edge of the screen. I don't want anything to accidentally get put onto that artboard. So first thing we're going to do is create a giant section of color using an oval. So I'm going to grab a circle and I'm just going to drag out a fairly large oval. And let's see how big we actually need to make this. I think it needs to be a little bigger. So roughly 3,300 by 1,900 for this oval. And I'm just going to center it up to the artboard and a Command-Shift left square bracket key to send it all the way to the back. And it's up to you how far you want to put this down on the page. But on this first card, since I have this expanded, I'm going to put it around there. So I'm going to remove the border on this, and I'm going to set this to our first gradient that we're going to be using, which is a blue to light blue. So to edit this gradient, I'm going to select the fill, and that'll give us our handles. I'm going to put the dark blue here in the corner, fading to the light blue, kind of off this way a little bit. Let's actually darken this up a lot here in the corner. Something like that. We might adjust that further in a minute. Now, some other things we can do is add some circles for color. So I'm going to grab the ellipse tool and hold Shift to create a circle. I'm going to remove the border, and I'm just going to select that gradient. And we can send this behind this card. Command-Shift left square bracket key to send it to the back. Command right square bracket key will bring it forward 1 on top of that rectangle there. And we'll put that one in the corner. Let's actually scale it up a little bit. And we'll put another large one back here. And I'm actually going to flip the gradient around. Something like that. So that one's a little bit more subtle. And I'm just going to go through and kind of duplicate these and shrink them down, scale them down a little bit until I get a pattern that I like. And you can also take these and lower the opacity. So like maybe even going down to 15, 25%, just to put a little bit of detail into the design. And we'll put one over here. Okay, so now that we have this color here, we also need to change all of the text to white. And we also need to grab the icons and set those to white as well. And on this magnifying glass icon, I'm just going to grab the eyedropper tool and grab this dark blue color to match the background. Looking pretty good. Now we're going to add some more color with some different shapes. So I'm going to grab the pen tool and I'm going to start around here. I'm just going to click a point and we'll create a nice little round there. And I'm just going to make some nice curvy looking shapes. I'm going to adjust the handles to get them to look the way I want them. And with these shapes, you really want these points to be rounded. If you have any edges that kind of look jagged or not as round, it's not going to look as good with this. And so on this one in the top left corner, I'm going to set this to our next gradient, which is kind of a pinkish color. And on this one, I'm going to add the darker color swatch down here in this corner, and then we'll fade up to the lighter color up here at the top. Then I'm going to do another shape, and this one will start around here. And I really want this one to curve, kind of like a circle. This one's going to be our third and last gradient color, which is kind of a purple to pink. And on this one, I'm going to have the lighter color at the top and then the darker color down here at the bottom. I'm also going to bring this shape on top, so Command-Shift, right square bracket key to bring it all the way up. And you'll notice what I was talking about here, how this is kind of jagged. It's not really rounded too much. So I'm going to continue working with that until it looks a little more rounded. And then we'll add one more shape here in the corner, create a round around there, and then come in, and then round one more time like that. This one we'll set to our blue gradient. And I'm going to send this one all the way to the back and bring it forward one so it's behind these two shapes. And I'm going to work on this curve here and this one here. All right, now let's add some other circles into this. So this one we're going to make the pink color, and we'll put this around there where those overlap. And then let's work on this other side. So I'm going to do something similar to this first shape here. I'm just going to come in, have it round in a little bit, and then round out here at the bottom. And again, you can put as much time as you would like into these to make this exactly perfect. I'm going to go off camera and put a lot of time into making these gradients and shapes look as good as I can, since this is the main color in the design. So we're going to set that to our pink color like we did over here in the corner. And again, on the fill, I'm going to put the lighter color up here towards this point, and then the darker color down here at the bottom. We'll grab that home icon in a minute and bring it up to the front. I'm going to hold Alt and duplicate this shape, and we'll put it here in the corner, and then adjust that gradient. Something like that. I'm also going to duplicate this one, and then I'm going to use our flip tool to flip it around. And we'll put this one around there. Again, adding some more circles now. We'll scale this one down a little bit, and we'll put this one on that overlap there as well. We'll put one over here, but we'll send it all the way to the back. I'm going to grab another pink one. We'll put one like right there. And then finally, we're going to add one more shape here at the top. Kind of blend these two sections together. I'm going to send the shape all the way to the back, and we'll set this to our blue gradient. Just like that. And then we'll put another pink circle overlapping around there. I'm also going to adjust this a little bit. And another circle around there. All right, so now we need to grab that home icon. So I'm going to go into the layers panel and actually find that. We'll just search home and it should pop up. Select it and Command Shift right square bracket key to bring it all the way to the front. So that's our top section now completed. We've got this set to blue. Everything else is set to white, so it's visible. We scroll down, this looks good. Let's grab this circle and scale it up, and we'll set this to purple, and then we'll put this one around there for a little bit more color. Then down here at the bottom, I'm gonna set this to this blue gradient on the button, and we'll set this swatch right here on the edge, and then I'm gonna drag this one over a ways. So you can tell it's fading, but it's not so harsh like that. And finally, let's add some color down here in the bottom left corner. So I'm gonna grab some of the shapes that we're using up here. So I'm gonna hold Alt and grab this one, and I'm gonna rotate this one around. We'll put it around there. Also gonna grab this one, rotate it as well. And we'll grab this one and rotate it a little bit. And we'll throw in some circles. Just like that. So that gives us some nice color in the bottom. We have some color throughout with the circles, and we've got some color at the top. And so like that, we are finished with our design tutorial. So that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, consider giving it a thumbs up. Subscribe for more design related content. I upload every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, so make sure you have that notification bell on so you don't miss a video. And as always, have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next one.